Please stand for our invocation led by Elder Christopher Joyner, Life Change Ministry, and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Gracious God, again we come thankful for life, for health, and for strength, asking that you would send your kindness and most mercious blessings upon all the citizens of the city, upon Mobile. Look down upon Mayor Stimson, members of this council, the items, initiatives, agenda discussions that we might have, and let them bear great fruit for these your people. Ask that you look down upon families that have been afflicted by this horrendous coronavirus, the first responders, and each and every doctor and nurse that have lent their hand and their knowledge to better that condition. Bless the city, the state, this country, and this world, for we're certainly in need of your hand. These and other blessings we ask. In your name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. President Manzi?
Here.
Vice President Small?
Here.
Councilmember Richardson? Councilmember Davis?
Here.
I'm sorry, Councilmember Williams?
Here.
Councilmember Daves?
Here.
Councilmember Rich?
Here.
Councilmember Gregory?
Here.
Statement of rules.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We first would ask that you turn off or silence all electronic devices before or upon entering the meeting. Any person desiring to address the council must sign in indicating the resolution, ordinance, appeal, or public hearing agenda item before entering the council meeting. When addressing the council, the speaker must state for the record his or her name and address. Any person desiring to speak to the council on a non-agenda item must contact the city clerk's office on the Thursday preceding the Tuesday in which you would like to speak by 2 p.m. The subject matter must be pertinent to City of Mobile business. Any person who has not given that proper notice won't be allowed to address the council. Speakers are granted 3 minutes to address the council. A bell will sound to indicate the end of 2 minutes, which would mean that 1 minute remains for summarizing. The second bell indicates that all of your time has expired. When addressing the council, there is to be no personal address to any individual council member. All statements are to be made to me, who serves as chair, and I will subsequently recognize any council person who wishes to respond. To maintain decorum, there will be no undue applause and/or public outcry allowed. Those are the rules for this particular meeting, and thank you for your interest in your municipal government.
Approval of minutes of April 20th.
So moved.
Second.
Been properly moved and second. Any discussion? Great job as always. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved.
Communications from the mayor.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see everybody in person.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Know that everybody's had their both vaccines, which is comforting. My first remarks this morning have to do with recognizing one of our very outstanding city employees. And the mayor and the city council have all signed a proclamation. And so at this time, I would ask Brad Christensen to please join me at the podium. Surprise. All right, so the proclamation reads, whereas we are here today to express special recognition to Brad Christensen and to honor him for his distinguished 10-year career with the City of Mobile's Real Estate and Asset Management Department, a division of Public Works. And whereas Brad began his career on February 26, 2011 as the Director of Architectural Engineering and rose through the ranks until his promotion to the position of Director of Real Estate and Asset Management. And whereas Brad has proven himself to be a valuable asset to the City of Mobile with a vast knowledge of the city's infrastructure, public buildings, real estate holdings, and master of architecture. And whereas Brad has worked constantly for the betterment of the Mobile Ream Department and the community, and whereas the City of Mobile wishes to express its sincere appreciation to Brad for his dedication to the outstanding performance of his duties during his tenure, and whereas this proclamation is presented to Brad to serve as a reminder that through his retiring, he will always be remembered as a valued employee dedicated to his position, his staff, and our community. Now therefore, we, the members of the Mobile City Council and the Mayor, do hereby present the proclamation to James Bradley Christensen as a testimonial to the faithful and dedicated service which he has performed over the last 10 years, with our best wishes for continued success and happiness in all future endeavors. Congratulations, Brad. Well, true to form, Brad is not going to make a comment. He is what I would call an outstanding listener, though, because over the 10-year period, he's probably had more advice than most other people, especially when it comes to the wishes of the council and the mayor. So
Oh, yes.
Amen on that?
Amen. Yes, sir.
Okay. So I would like to bring awareness to not just the council, but to the general public about this is Work Zone Awareness Week. And typically as we're driving down our streets, we see signs indicating that workers are ahead, please slow down. This is very important. In the past, in our city, we've actually had people that have been harmed and actually killed by people that have not adhered to that. So we have something like 12 active road projects right now. So it just calls for a heightened awareness to make sure that we slow down and pay attention to those that are out there trying to improve our infrastructure. This morning on the agenda, we're asking the council to authorize a contract with Moffitt Nichols to evaluate and design the public amenities that would help activate our downtown waterfront at Cooper Riverside Park. Specifically, if you go back and think about ideas that have been floated about how to activate the park, a lot of that includes additional hardscaping or changes to the hardscaping. The thought here is that by engaging Moffitt Nichols at this point, they can answer questions about what are limitations on maybe moving the seawall out. What are the limitations created because the tunnels go under certain parts of the park? What limitations may we have because of the railroad either allowing or not allowing maybe additional crossing into the park? So in addition to the great things and ideas that may come up, they will answer some of these questions that would erase some brainstorming that would maybe lead us down, the wrong rabbit trail of ideas. So once they come back with a plan, at that point we'll really open it up to the public, because then we will have the guide rails on what can be done. And at that point in time, the fruits of creativity, the juices of creativity will help us come up with what we hope will be, a more active Cooper Riverside Park. Also in front of you, I think that y'all all should have a PAFR. Do you have it in front of you? Where's the PAFR? Yes, you will have it shortly. There should be one given out to you. This is the simplified version of our financial statement that is being made available to the public should they want it, but it's very user-friendly from the standpoint of being able to understand the financial situation of the city. So it's also going to be online in digital form for anybody that wants to go have a better understanding of the financial situation of the city. Really want to thank Rebecca Christensen. I think that's the type of Rebecca Christian. She's somebody's made her kin to Brad in my notes here, which I don't think that's right. Anyway, I want to thank Rebecca and her team for what they've done, and also the finance team for the outstanding achievement in 2020, receiving what they call the Governmental Finance Officers Association Award for the work that they've produced in the CAFR and the PAFR. So cleanup events coming May 1st, Medal of Honor Park. Last Saturday's cleanup in partnership with Baykeeper and the Kappa League and Fuse Project at Tricentennial Park is being rescheduled for May 8th. And on May 15th, there'll be Baumhauer Randall Park. So I look forward to seeing you at those locations. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Williams?
First of all, I want to join the mayor, and although we have in that proclamation, thanking Brad. Trusted advice. He gave out his cell phone the first day he showed up and never failed to answer it. And I trusted every time that I got an answer from you. It always proved to be true. I was never wrong in trusting you, and I wish you the absolute very best. And to my colleagues, I would just call your attention to the last page of this popular annual financial report. We're not where we are if it is not for the gentleman mentioned in that memorial. So God rest Paul Wesh. And again, thanks to the whole team, financial team, for putting us where we are.
Mr. President,
Mr. Daves?
I'd like to echo Councilman Williams' words. Mayor, this is really good. Anyone who has spent any time whatsoever trying to understand our official report, the CAFR, will acknowledge that it's like looking at a bowl of spaghetti, trying to figure out what's going on in there. And you have to spend a lot of time really looking at it closely. This helps a lot to allow our citizens to understand where the money's coming from and where the money's going to, which are the main things. And I'd also like to join Councilman Williams in thanking Brad, but also mentioning how much we owe to Paul Wesh for the many years of service he provided. His contributions to this city are remarkable, and we should all be very grateful to him for the time he spent getting us to where we are today. Thank you, Mr. President.
And I join my colleagues in echoing the same sentiments, saying to Mr. Christensen, Godspeed and enjoy your retirement. We appreciate all of the many, many, many hours that you have devoted, particularly over the last 6 years with the creation and the implementation of the CIP program. I just know that has almost probably quadrupled your workload, but you always kept a very calm and cool and even-keeled demeanor, gave answers as appropriately as you could, and we appreciate that. And so you certainly have earned and deserve a great retirement. And I also agree wholeheartedly to look at the back of this presentation and see that it's dedicated to Mr. Paul Charles Wesh is certainly most appropriate. We cannot communicate clearly and in any way more effectively just how valuable and invaluable Mr. Wesh's association with the city of Mobile was and has been. He was someone that everyone could trust, much like Mr. Christensen kept a very even-keeled, and I imagine he would have been a great poker player because he never let you know when he was upset. I can't remember an incident where I saw him upset. And I happened to share parking spaces with him and enjoyed many insightful conversations there in the parking lot. So he is truly missed, and I'm hopeful that his family will get a copy of this and that it will mean to them what it means to us. And again, congratulations on your retirement, Mr. Christensen. Madam City Clerk.
Monthly finance reports.
Okay, good morning, Mr. President.
Good morning.
My name's Bob Holt. In case you haven't met me yet, I think I've tried to get around and introduce myself to all of you. And first of all, I just want to thank you for giving me the opportunity. Number two, I want to acknowledge that I certainly appreciate all the comments about Mr. Wesh. I know he was highly regarded, and I'm going to do everything I can to meet the expectations that you have for me, and that I can fulfill them in a way that you were accustomed to under Mr. Wesh. So I'm glad you brought that up. And secondly, I just want to say, too, that Mr. Richardson, you kind of caught me flat-footed today a little bit. That's okay. Now I know that you're interested in what we're doing and what I'm doing, and I know what you're interested in. I'm going to make a point of making sure that I'm more than ready in the future. I do value DBE. I've worked with DBE and DBE-type businesses all my life, and I certainly appreciate them and what they do. So thank you for bringing that to my attention earlier today. What I wanted to do was just to kind of go over the 6-month financials with you all and give you kind of an overview of how we're doing. Actually, the city's still doing pretty well. For the month, we had sales tax revenue of about $11.9 million, just slightly under what our budget was. We barely missed it by just a $700,000. Year to date, we brought in $85 million. Against a budget of 79, so we're running about $6.8 million ahead of budget for sales revenue. As far as total revenue is concerned, for the month, we received $18.6 million, just about right on budget. Year to date, though, our receipts have been $158 million. Our budget was $150 million, so we're running about $7.7 million ahead of budget. And that revenue comes from a lot of different sources. Sales tax, as you all probably know, or I'm sure you know, is the most prominent, but this also includes real estate, rental tax, fines, and other incidentals. We think that pretty much this year is kind of a surprise to many of us. It's turned out to be stronger than it was when we put the budget together last year. Higher prices, higher retail prices, higher groceries, and they have all translated into higher revenues from the sales tax side. Okay, on the balance sheet side, next time I'll try to have something, a video or something, so you can see it, or I'll make a copy of this. The balance sheet is strong. It's really one of the stronger balance sheets you'll find just about anywhere. Overall, for the month, we added another $12 million to the fund balance because of the revenue that we, we added another, step back. We lost $12 million for the month, but year to date we've made $29 million. So we're still ahead. Our fund balance right now is $118 million. And I think our forecast for the year is probably going to be relatively flat, because it traditionally has been for this period of time in the back half of the year. Just a couple of highlights. So far, we did receive $7.8 million from the CARES Act. That's about $500,000 short of what we had anticipated, but nevertheless, it's still a healthy refund from the government. FEMA recovery is in process. We have until June to get that reconciled, but we think we'll recover the majority of the funds that we spent on the hurricane recovery. The 22 budget is in process. It's right now under review by all the different departments, and that's due back to finance within the next 2 weeks. The American Recovery Act that we've heard so much about, we'll be talking more about that today. It's still in process. We've been speaking with them almost on a weekly basis. I think, and I'll share more with you on this afternoon, but it is looking as if funds will be coming our way before the end of the month, and we can talk more about that this afternoon. And that's pretty much it. Are there any questions for finance?
I don't have a question, but, well, yes, I guess this is a direct question. Will you place this information on the city's front page so we can link citizens to these numbers and they can see this review that the council was given?
We put it on the website. Is that what you're asking? Yes.
Where you break it down with what's the balance and how much?
Can we
Pretty
break
much
that
your
down?
report.
Yeah, oh yeah, the report will go on.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I'll send people to it.
Yeah.
They're always
The 6-month
interested.
statement that county puts out will be posted. Yeah.
Thank you.
And it has all the detail in it too.
Great.
So.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And welcome aboard. We look forward to working with you.
Mr. President, the PAFR, or the Popular Annual Financial Report the mayor referred to, is online now. So people can find it there if they just look at our page.
Is the booklet, you're saying
the
this?
packet.
This is
booklet?
already online, yes.
Perfect. Great. Thank you.
Adoption of the agenda.
So moved.
Second?
Been properly moved in second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Appeals, we have requests for waiver of the noise ordinance on May 20th in Cooper Riverside Park, May 1st on Gentilly Drive North, May 7th and 8th on Gentilly Drive North, September 12th in Langham Park, May 1st at the grounds.
So moved.
Second.
Properly moved in second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Public hearings. Today is the public hearing to declare the structures at 960 Bernice Hudson Drive and 1504 Terrell Road public nuisances and ordering them demolished.
Is there anyone here that would like to offer any commentary during any of these public hearings? If not, public hearings are closed.
Presentation of petitions and other communications to the council. Sabrina Mass.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Sabrina Mass, 1050 Belvedere Circle West, Mobile, Alabama, 36606. Good morning, everyone. I am so happy to see everybody. I'm elated to be back in the building, Government Plaza. I'm elated to see all the city leaders, Mayor Stimpson, and the citizens. So good morning, great day. I am here to talk about maybe a sensitive topic, but it's okay. We will get through it. My agenda item today is in reference to an incident that, probably an isolated incident that happened in the city of Mobile a couple of days after the young man Dante Wright was shot by the police. We had an MPD officer, from my understanding, a citizen contacted me, a young man, and said he was pulled over, and an officer told him he needed to take the air freshener from his visor because it was impeding his view. The young man, he removed the item. He was kind of, of course, the officer, from my understanding, didn't do anything, aggressive to him or anything of that nature. But that incident was very concerning to me. And immediately, because I do try to be active in this community, I did reach out to City Councilman Fred Richardson. Thank you, Councilman Richardson, and he immediately contacted our then Chief Batiste, now Director of Public Safety, Batiste, to, verify or figure this situation out. And I will say, just speaking upon that, Chief Batiste, I have so much respect for him and great respect for him, because anytime there has been any issue, he has always immediately tried to remedy the situation. And I will also say, even the former Chief Barber, Director Barber, the same to you. So that incident was immediately remedied. Chief Batiste definitely was advocate in making sure that all the citizens felt safe, secure, even in the light of what's going on in our America. I just want to say that I'm out in the community all the time, and I do try to let the, the young people know, and our citizens know that, we are dealing with some stuff in the United States of America, but I am very confident living in the city of Mobile that we have not had any unrest of this nature. And I feel confident that we will not have any unrest of any nature that deals with the police and the citizens, because I've lived here long enough to have faith in our police department, in our city council, in our mayors. So I would like to say that my message to the police, the mayor, and the city council, we just need to stay vigilant and know that this is a sensitive subject that's going on in America. As a minority woman, with minority sons, we do feel kind of on edge. Not because it's going on in Alabama, but because it's just going on in society. If we could just be sensitive to that subject when, there's an approach to the young people out here, the young black males, or any citizen for that fact, I would like to say that. But I just want to say thank you for your cooperation, and I appreciate everything that the city of Mobile does for the community and the citizens. Thank you. Have a blessed day.
Thank you, Ms. Mass.
Wesley Young.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Glad to be back. Glad to see the council members and the mayor and the staff. My name is Wesley Young. I reside at 3058 James Street, Mobile, Alabama. I'm here this morning to address an issue that came to my attention by employees of the Public Service Department divisions, especially Park and Recreation, where they are being asked to work on Saturdays and Sundays, not their regular scheduled work days, but the following week they are being asked to take that time off, whether it's 5 hours, 10 hours, in order for them not to receive overtime. I think this is wrong for anyone to ask an employee to leave their families on weekends, because that's quality time, and not pay them overtime. It doesn't happen anywhere in public safety. It shouldn't happen in public service. So I want to make sure that everybody understands what's taking place. These employees are devastated about this situation. We need to correct it, and we need to correct it now, because it doesn't make sense. These employees are frontline workers. They worked through the entire pandemic, put their lives on the line and their family lives on the line, dealing with elderly and children in these park and recreation centers. They haven't received an incentive to pay. They haven't received a bonus. If they receive a raise, most of the time when they have received one, the insurance increased, so that took that raise away. We got to stop treating some employees different than we do others. I've said that time and time and time again before this council. Something needs to be done about this situation, and it needs to be done now, because these are citizens of Mobile and Park and Recreation. So I expect something to be done, and I hope someone on the council or the mayor's staff will look into this matter and rectify it, because it's wrong to treat people that way. I thank you for your time.
Mr. President,
Mr. Richardson.
can we have some comment from the administration regarding the issue that was raised, that employees are having to work on Saturday, not paid overtime, and sometime down the road they can take off somewhere down the road for the time they worked on Saturday? I want to know if that is happening, is it happening in other departments, or is it just happening in Parks and Recreation? I would like to have some comment from the administration.
This is Jim DeLapp. As it relates to Parks and Recreation, I can't speak for the rest of all the city employees, but there are employees who work have shifts that work that includes the weekends. Then they have their days off during the week. Part of that is to support special events that occur on the weekends. So as you can imagine, to be able to support all the events that we have in the city, many of which are on the weekends, those employees have to work, on the Saturday, Sunday, may have Monday, Tuesday off, for example, instead of Saturday, Sunday. And that's just the shift that they're on. There has been a small migration of some of those folks over the last or recent months as our events team has come more into the Recreation Department, where before it was a standalone entity.
Well, I guess the question I have is, are there instances where a employee has worked their traditional shift and been asked to work on the weekends and it not be considered overtime?
No, that should not be the case.
That should not be the case.
Correct. If they work if they work beyond their 40 hours, they would be compensated with overtime. It's employees that have their 40-hour work week that does include the weekends. There are some employees that do that.
So the instances that have been brought to our attention would be a case where that person would have already regularly been scheduled to work Saturday or Sunday.
That's right. And as I said, I think recently, fairly recently, I don't know exactly how far back, some employees have had their schedules adjusted to accommodate the special weekend events.
Mr. President.
Mr. Vice President.
Colonel DeLapp, if it's possible, I can ask you a question. So special events is now under Public Works, correct?
Correct.
Are they sharing employees, or is it still separate employees with the special events team? Or now is it sharing employees with Parks and Recs?
No, well, maybe when I said correct, the events team is under Parks and Recreation. Mm-hmm. Does that?
So all the employees that was under special events is now up on the Parks and Rec. So now we are sharing employees. I mean, they all are just one basket now, correct?
Right. I mean, for the most part, but they're still in that department of events. We call it now, instead of special events, just events. But yes, before they were a little bit as a standalone entity, but now they more fall under the Parks and Recreation Department as a whole, so under the direction of Shonda Smith.
Okay. Well, just a question. So with the former employees that was under, let's say, the old Parks and Recs, which is now they're combined with the special events, have they job title has changed, or they still have the same job titles, or have their description of their jobs have changed? Either department, the old Parks and Rec, or either the old Events Mobile. Have their job description changed since it's been?
I would say broadly probably not, but I can't get you the exact, I have to find out exactly whether their job descriptions change at all. Some of their duties may have adjusted, but I need to check with Shonda and figure that out.
But that could be something that the employees probably don't understand. I'm just guessing. I haven't talked to no one. But if their job titles has changed or their job description has changed, have they really just been formally introduced to it? I don't know. I'm just asking questions. Yeah.
And I do know that she's, any adjustments that she's made throughout her tenure, she's been very good about getting with the employees and explaining to them any adjustments. And there have been adjustments throughout that department, which I think have all been very, very positive and very well received. So it's not it's not her nature or leadership style to just put something upon the employees without having a discussion with them about it and making sure they're all well aware.
All right, thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. President.
Mr. Woods.
So two additions, points of clarity. One is Colonel Lapp is correct, and Mr. Small asked a pertinent question. Understanding that with alignment, two things are happening. One, Ms. Smith is doing a much more robust job with Parks and Rec, and I think the council and special events have been really happy with what's happening. Number two, you have to point out that there have been 5 raises over the course of you all being here and the administration being in place. This council, this administration, 5 raises. Then insurance does not incrementally go up. The last time that happened was probably 2.5 years ago. So that, just want to point that out, that doesn't happen every time the increase happens for the employees that get taken away. And last and certainly not least is what Colonel DeLapp was saying about the 40-hour work week is each employee, with the exception of public safety in the fire realm, is limited to the 40 hours unless it's absolutely necessary to work overtime. And so you have people from Parks and Rec, special events working on the weekend. You have police and fire who also work on the weekend. And that puts the overwhelming majority of city employees working on the weekend. There's no real difference there. Just don't want anybody to think that somebody's being treated differently for any particular reason.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Ms. Rich?
Would it be possible to get an organizational chart to the council? It's been a while, and this is good information about what's transpired. And as far as people working on weekends, I believe our citizens are very appreciative of that. I know I've done a few of the park special events, and they've truly been great, and the community is embracing them, which is wonderful. The other thing is we get a lot of signage placed inappropriately throughout our districts, and I was wondering whether there was any administration thoughts about using personnel to work on weekends so that the businesses could be warned or cited. Has that been anything? I know this is dovetailing to a whole nother thing, but you're talking about weekend hours.
So the short answer is no, that has not been considered working on weekends, and that's in large part because we enforce the law as written. They're allowed to have those signs during the weekend, but we are ramping up enforcement during the week.
They're not allowed to have
issues.
big banners, and they're not allowed to have them in medians. And that's what's going on, at least in the district where I
Right, but those
have a lot
enforcement
of-
efforts are during the week. I mean, just as it goes.
Right, but a lot of times they take them down, but they're incorrect according to the ordinance as far as we don't allow those big banners, you know what I'm talking about? Those wavy things that we see all over on weekends and in medians. And then, you know, it just keeps getting worse. So yes, I would love to see enforcement during the weekend hours when that's really being mishandled by businesses. And they might not know, they see others doing it, so they do it. But, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Madam City Clerk?
Reggie Hill.
Thank you, Madam City Clerk, Mr. President, members of the council, Mr. Mayor, citizens and stakeholders of Mobile. Good morning.
Good morning.
Reggie Hill, 1007 Center Street. I rise today to address a matter that I believe is quite dear to the hearts. By newly passed ordinance, we know that it probably is even more exciting for the people that are sitting here before us, but that is the distribution of city resources. I have some particular topics that I want to address. I'm going to ask some questions, and hopefully members of the council and the administration will be able to address them. I want to welcome our new Director of Finance. I believe that this will be a great opportunity for us to work with the administration, seeing how our resources are spent throughout the city, and with him saying that this is under review now, the 2021-2022 budget by our department heads, I think this will be a great time for those departments to get engaged with citizens' requests as well. I would urge this council to be looking at ways that we can utilize more performance contracts to eradicate some of our public safety problems. Based on all the numbers that I was hearing this morning, we have too much money to be dealing with some of the issues that we're dealing with. I think we just need to allocate those things better, and I'm willing to work with anyone who is willing to get this stuff done. The next piece that I would like to discuss, not too long ago, it was either one or two council meetings ago, there was an ordinance passed related to body cameras. In the original Public Safety Committee meeting, there was a different chair at the time. The primary issue as to why we couldn't purchase the cameras was because of the amount of money for data storage. So I would like to know, with this current contract, how much of that which was spent goes towards the data storage. And so at the end of my presentation, I hope that someone will be able to answer that as well. Dealing with the public purpose funds that are approved by this council. I'd like to know what is the turnover ratio from which it's approved from here, it goes back to finance, and it sits in legal before it's dispersed to residents who have, again, been approved here with council. It seems that some businesses may get disbursements well before others, and I just want to try to see if there's some type of timeline. As far as the public works, for about a year now, I've been requesting an inventory regarding the equipment and various amenities, particularly with vehicles and things of that nature within our public works department, as I noticed that the amount or ratio of money being spent with this compared to other things I believe we need to take care of is a little off. So I'd just like to see that. I know our president had said he would communicate with the administration to get that done, and I haven't heard anything on it. And then finally, there have been quite a few citizens within the community, District 2, where I live, requesting information about an amendment to our CIP ordinance in which about $300,000 were allocated for tackling blight. And there's been some discrepancies on how to obtain those resources, just any information at all. And so I hope that our president will be able to follow up on that. And like I said, those are the matters that I have. I thank you for yielding the floor. I hope somebody will answer. And it's good to be back in the chambers, and I hope that we'll start being a little bit more collaborative with citizens and this body of elected officials. Thank you.
Resolutions held over. 21-888, 21-288. Huh? What happened? No. 21-288, authorized contract with Professional Fire Protection Services for fire sprinkler and backflow preventer repairs at various city facilities. 21-289, authorized contract with Tyndall Construction for Hertel Street Armory wall and window repairs. 21-290, authorized performance contract with Society Mobile La Habana for publication of a joint bilingual book documenting the shared stories of the two cities. 21-291, authorized contract with Moffitt and Nickel for development services, Mobile Riverfront redevelopment project. 23-292, accept deeds for right-of-way for the McGregor Avenue widening project. 60-294, agree to offer undeveloped acres along Shelton Beach Road extension for sale. 6296, approved settlement and release of claims. 6300 and 301, approving settlement agreement and release of claims. 21302, authorized performance contract with USA Health Mitchell Cancer Institute.
So moved.
Second.
Properly moved and second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Items passed.
Consent resolutions being introduced for the first time, 37303 through 6307.
Mr. President.
Mr. Vice President.
Motions to suspend the rules for immediate consideration for consent resolution that's being introduced, 37-303 through 60-307.
Second.
Properly moved and second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
37303, recommend approval to the ABC Board for issuance of a restaurant retail liquor license for Villa Del Rey Cocina Mexicana on Daru Drive. 40, 304, and 305 are declaring the structures at 960 Bernice Hudson Drive and 1504 Terrell Road public nuisances and ordering them demolished. 60, 306, determine an appropriation to the Mobile Symphony Orchestra serves a public purpose and approve payment. 60, 307, approve award of special bonus to the March Firefighter of the Month.
So moved.
Second.
Properly moved and second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
CIP resolutions being introduced, 21308.
Mr. President,
Mr. Vice President.
this resolution will be laid over for 1 week by council rules.
Resolutions being introduced, 01309 through 21321.
Mr. President, these resolutions will be laid over for 1 week by council rules.
Announcements.
We will start this week with Ms. Gina Gregory from the 7th District.
Thank you, Mr. President. Appreciate that. The vaccine clinic that was scheduled for this past Saturday at St. John United Methodist Church on Overlook Road has been rescheduled for May 22nd from 8 o'clock until noon. So if you were planning to come out for that vaccine clinic, please come on Saturday, May 22nd instead. Of course, the weather was bad on Saturday, so we had to reschedule that. And I thank everyone at USA Health as well as St. John United Methodist Church for agreeing to partner with the city and for also agreeing to reschedule. This past Sunday, I was able to participate along with the mayor and many, many others for the dedication of the new church at St. Ignatius. This is something that has been in the works for that church for a very long time. It was a beautiful service, and the church is just spectacular. If you get a chance to see the inside of it, if you are not a member, you will not be disappointed. I just am very appreciative of the invitation to participate and be a part of this historic service with everyone who was a member of St. Ignatius. The resurfacing work in my district is moving ahead. We have been waiting for a lot of concrete work to be finished before the resurfacing crews come back, and some of that is being moved ahead. The concrete work will come behind some of the resurfacing in order to get things moving a little quicker. So I'm just very appreciative of everyone who has had a part of this. And also, I want to thank the people in these neighborhoods who have been waiting on the resurfacing for their patience. I thank them for their patience because it has been a long time coming. But I know you will be very grateful when you see the kind of work that we are doing and the improvements that are being made. And then coming up this week, I have a meeting with one of my new neighborhood groups. We'll meet with the leaders of the Carriage Woods Community Improvement Group on Friday. Captain Greeley is coming with me, so we just look forward to meeting with the leaders of that group. And then on May 8th, they will be holding a cleanup. So a lot going on in District 7, and just thank everyone for your involvement, for all the volunteer efforts that we have going on in the district. Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Gregory. Mr. John Charles Williams.
I just say it's a great day in Mobile, Alabama, and it's good to be back downtown. I look forward to the committees in person and to the in-office meetings with the mayor and his administration, and things really getting back to normal. That is all.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President.
Thank you, Mr. President. This coming Monday, May the 3rd, will be a great day in South DIP. We will be having a soft opening at the Parkway Senior Center. For many years, especially since I've been on council, the Parkway Foundation and the seniors down there at the Parkway Senior Center have been advocating for additional rooms at the Parkway Center. Through the course of last year during the pandemic, those rooms was renovated and also equipped with computers and exercise equipment. With the regulations of the state and the state health officer relaxing some of the rules, but all the rules are not relaxed, we are able to have a soft opening on this coming Monday. We'll be kind of private because of the regulations from the state, but we will send our invitation to the ones that we are going to invite again just to have a soft opening. It's my desire to have Kool-Aid and punch and cake because it is a great celebration, but because of state regulations, we cannot do that. We will have to be masked up and really be distanced from each other for this soft opening. So we will have a small crowd for this soft opening on this coming Monday. And again, the Senior Foundation Center on DIP is located at 1600 Boykin Boulevard. We are encouraging all seniors in the really across DIP District 3 to come out and enjoy the facilities there. The hours are from 7:30 to 11:30 and from 1:30 to 5:30, and they are taking reservations only. I'm encouraging everyone to go by, tour the facility to see exactly how nice it is. The number that you can reach the staff at is 471-2503. Again, that's area code 251-471-2503. And again, I will be mailing out some information to every resident in District 3 in the next couple of weeks, explaining the time and the hours of the sales center. But again, looking for next Monday to have a great soft opening. And again, this is great news for not only just South DIP, but for District 3. Also, as the mayor had mentioned earlier, there will be a cleanup May the 15th from 8:30 to 11:30 at the Bonhauer Randall, also known as the Duval Street Park. This again, focusing on Maysville and also North DIP, asking all residents of North DIP and also the Maysville community to please come out on May the 15th from 8:30 to 11:30 and help spruce up our community. Ms. Gregory was talking about resurfacing and different projects, but the best resurfacing to me is Baltimore Street. On last week, the guys had an opportunity to start resurfacing the second phase of Baltimore Street, which is great news. I'm very excited to see this going on. Many residents had many doubts that Baltimore Street would never get paved again. But if you drive down Broad Street and just make the right look over to your right, going towards Brooklyn Field, it's looking better and better every day. And again, great work is going on Baltimore Street. Again, one of my biggest projects that I had planned in, while I was tenured on the council is being done. And again, I do appreciate this council for extending the 1 cent sales tax penny for the CIP and also the administration, because it wasn't for all of us working together, this would not been done. And again, I do appreciate everyone who also participate in making sure that we are moving our community forward in a great way. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Ms. Rich.
Thank you very much. I would just like to announce, and it's been put out there already, but on May 1st from 8 a.m. to 11 at Medal of Honor Park, there's a cleanup. And I hope people will come out and help clean up the park. I'm not sure that people can actually walk with the pickers after they've been given out, but I hope so they can go back to their neighborhoods and do the same thing on the rights of way in their neighborhood. But if we could be told that, I'd like to let people know that that's another thing. That's a good reason to come out to the park. The other thing is on May the 9th, which is Mother's Day at 5:30, the Mobile Youth Orchestra in collaboration with our symphony orchestra, who will not be present, it will just be the youth, but this is for Mother's Day at Mobile Botanical Gardens, and again, that will be at 5:30 May 9th, and that's a $5 fee at the gate. And I do hope people come out and support that, and I hope that the weather is accommodating, although they have indoors, so I'm assuming that it will be a go no matter what. The other thing is that we get a lot of phone calls about our trash pickup schedule. We have been made aware as council members about the equipment issue and out of everybody's control getting our new equipment that would get everything back online. But I'm wondering if there needs to be a statement. We are sending people through our newsletters to link their garbage and trash collection, and then there is some information, but it goes back a while, so maybe an updated information that residents could learn about the delay and the reasons for it. Most people are pretty reasonable, but again, it does wear on their last nerve when it goes days that they put it out and it's not picked up. So again, we're trying to get the word out as council people, but it would really be good if that was on the city's webpage. So I hope that's something we can look forward to for them.
Just one quick follow-up on that. Our crews have been working, as you know, for the last several weeks, 7 days a week, to get back onto a schedule, the predictable, regular schedule. But we are trying to get the website updated as we are getting back onto schedule. And we'll work to stay on schedule the best we can based on the equipment that we have.
Right, and if there's a lack of equipment, that's something that's going to be following the situation. So if our citizens could be made aware, that would go a long way. Thank you.
Mr. Richardson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to start off by announcing that Creek Fest will take place this year on Saturday, June 12th, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Tricentennial Park. And the focus is going to be on cleaning up the 3 Mile Creek watershed. It is a tremendous event, and asking citizens from all over the city to get ready to come and join us at Creek Fest. It's going to be some entertainment down there. It's just going to be tremendous. And we're asking the entire city to show up at Creek Fest June the 12th from 10 to 3 p.m. More than 4 years ago, funding was approved to install sidewalks along O'Shea Road from Union Avenue to Highland Avenue. It's a low to moderate income neighborhood. The funding was allocated for the sidewalk to be installed. Finally, after waiting more than 4 years, a contract was placed on their council agenda for sidewalks to be installed along O'Shea Road. The contractor was given 60 days to complete the project. It's going on 90 days. We haven't seen nothing done. Hide not hair of that contractor. Absolutely nothing has been done on O'Shea Road. If you keep driving and go under the interstate and look at the sidewalks on O'Shea Road, contractor is installing it. It would appear to me and many other citizens that projects that are paid for and approved for low to moderate income communities are all too often placed in a holding pattern for years with the money there. I've seen it too many times. 4 years is too long. We're going on 5th year with the money there to pay for the sidewalks. Nothing is done. Another example, for more than 2 years, almost $1 million was allocated for projects up at Figures Park. No construction started up there. We've approved the contract, nobody done nothing. Nothing's happening up there. Same thing for Trinity Gardens Park. Almost $1 million allocated for the Trinity Gardens Park, nothing is being done there. But I do have some good news that the splash pad at Tricentennial Park, we're having a new splash pad installed there. And as of yesterday, the platform for that splash pad had been installed, and they had begun to put other entities, other parts to that, the water sprinkling system, and they got 3 or 4 other things that they have started to come up out of the ground with pertaining to the splash pad, and they have assured me that by the time summer starts, the splash pad will be completely installed and the children will be free to play on a brand new splash pad. By the way, the first splash pad for the city of Mobile came to Tricentennial Park. We installed the first one. So we're looking forward to that splash pad being ready for the children when summer starts. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Richardson. Mr. Daves.
Thank you, Mr. President. We will have a meeting of the City Council's Finance Committee at 1 o'clock in this room. The Finance Committee will be looking into 2 things. The first is to better understand the dictates of the city's ordinance, requiring that we expend best efforts in achieving 15% of the city's contracts going to socially or economically disadvantaged businesses, and what progress has been made in that area. And secondly, to hear a report on the receipt of additional federal COVID-19 funding, when we might get it, how much it might be, and what restrictions there are on its use. That will be today at 1 o'clock in this room. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. We look forward to that discussion at 1 o'clock. 2 very important and timely subject matters, and look forward to that meeting. I don't have any announcements at this point other than, we are glad as a collective to be back here at the seat of government, Government Plaza, hopefully returning to some more semblances of normalcy, but also wanting to stress to our citizens that we aren't quite out of danger just yet. Let's continue to observe those things that we've been asked to observe as it relates to social distancing, as it relates to masking, as it relates to just utilizing common sense with washing your hands and things of that nature, so that we can continue to add back traditional things that we've grown accustomed to, that we all miss, like attending church services together. I think the days of that coming back are hopefully coming quicker than we would have thought months ago, but we still have a great ways to go, and we just want to thank all of our first responders, our healthcare professionals, USA Health, and all of the other organizations that are sponsoring the vaccine drives and things across our region, and we want to encourage our citizens to take advantage of these opportunities, particularly as the restrictions are being lessened. No one yet here in the city has grown a third ear or tail, and so in that case, these are things that you hopefully can trust if you, at the consultation with your medical professional, come to the realization that you need it. And so with that,
Mr.
I believe
President?
we have a motion from Mr. Daves.
Mr. President, I move that we go into executive session beginning at 2:00 p.m. in order to discuss litigation and recess this meeting until that time.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second. Any discussion? We need to hear from Mr. Orange.
Mr. President, I previously provided my written opinion that the matter is appropriate for an executive session. Should take 30, maybe 45 minutes, and I would suggest that there's no need to reconvene afterwards.
So we heard from Mr. Arledge. It's been properly moved and second. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank each and every one of you.
Don't I have to do a roll call? I'm sorry, I have to do a roll call.
Yes, ma'am.
Council President Manzi?
Aye.
Vice President Small? Yes. Councilmember Richardson?
Yes.
Councilmember Williams? Councilmember Daves?
Yes.
Councilmember Rich?
Yes.
Councilmember Gregory?
Yes.
All right. Thank each and every one of you.